Wonderful. Thank you very much. So a big warm welcome to everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Robert Bruce. I'm your host for this event and very excited to be your host for this session on developing people and the bottom line. I would like to warmly introduce our two guests tonight. Firstly, Jean-Claude Duth. I have known Jean-Claude for many years and have had the pleasure to be a student of Jean-Claude's and done many workshops and traveled many miles around the world with Jean-Claude. He is a wizard, a white wizard of lean thinking and lean implementation with a true lean DNA. Back in the 90s, he started the Kaizen Institute in Europe. And then about 20 years ago, he started his own practice called Valencia. He has a unique approach, creating significant lean transformations in large corporations around the world. And one of Jean-Claude's catch cries is he doesn't get out of bed unless there's more than a 30% improvement to be had. So he likes to challenge the status quo. And then we have young Brad Hook, operations manager for a company in Melbourne called Tough Torno. And Brad will talk a bit more about that later. Brad is a young lean star who exhibits all of the lean leadership behaviors. That is our true north. Brad and the Tough team have done some wonderful work using, over the past couple of years, using Jean-Claude's teachings. So please give them a warm welcome. And I'm going to hand over to Jean-Claude. So Jean-Claude, you have the stage.
Thank you very much, Robert. So our speech today is developing people and the bottom line that I will introduce, and Brad, as say Robert, will show the practical case. Why developing people and the bottom line? Because you cannot improve the bottom line unless you develop people, and we are making everybody happy. In the Lean Challenge, we know that we improve security, quality, safety, profitability, delivery performance. But this is not enough. This has to be done at the right speed with the motivation of people. This will give satisfaction not only of the shareholder, but any stakeholder, customer, employee, and society. This cannot be done only by continuous improvement. It has to be done by a combination of radical change and continuous improvement. It's the Kaizen and the Kaikaku all together. And this has to be done in an harmonious way so that it preserves the long term and the short term together. In the lean thinking, everybody knows that we maximize the value for the customer and we minimize the resource for the company. The word is reduce lead time because by reducing lead time, we remove the waste out of the gemba. But how to proceed? The customer, as you know, is prepared to pay only for what is value for him. We focus on the transformation, we focus on added value, and we eliminate what is excess of transport, excess of expansion, what is inventory, and we try to allocate the resource on the right things. But is lean thinking enough? For 30 years, companies are eliminating Muda and Muri and Mura, and still Toyota is increasing the gap. Why? Why this gap is increasing when so many companies are spending millions of hours in eliminating Muda? Which Muda to eliminate and when? This is the key. Where do we have to allocate the resource? And in which sequence? This is our challenge in order to speed up the progress. So the question is, what is the ideal scene? It's not enough to eliminate Muda. It's not enough to improve the current situation. The question is, what do we want to reach? What is our dream? What is our true north? So we have to do a way to eliminate Muda differently than what we did for the last 30 years in order to speed up and to open the gate for the coming 30 years. And this is target condition. What are target conditions? The condition to meet the target. The target is what we want to reach as the ideal thing, as the true north. The target condition, this is a simple statement describing a desired state, leading us on the journey to true north. Whatever we are, wherever we are, we want to reach an ideal scene, which is our true north. We have an itinerary to go there, and the target condition will guide us through this itinerary so that we don't go out in the field. So, what are target conditions? First of all, they are strong principles that guide us on our way to the true north. And we need that guide in order not to get lost in the field and just spend energy removing Muda on things that will disappear in the true north. They are principles that once defined are like gravity. See this Eiffel Tower. If I drop it, it falls down. We are on planet Earth and there is no way that it will not drop down. So the principle of the target condition is that it behaves like gravity. They are stable data in the world, you cannot avoid them, and if you practice them, you have the certainty to achieve true north, to achieve the ideal scene. They are principles that once defined and learned, help us see the problem and Muda, which are the gap between the value stream map and the value stream dream. People see Muda, but is it easy to remove them? We can remove easily some, not others. But which one do we have to remove? When do we put the resource? The target condition at any step of the journey creates a gap between what should be and what is, and then you know on which Muda to focus, not only to improve locally, but to obtain the global result at the bottom line. Target conditions are an enabler to breakthrough thinking and innovation, taking us from value stream map to value stream dream. And this is a catalyzer in order to succeed. And finally, principles that, if used correctly, will support to get the end result with total certainty. Is a process leading to the result because we are running the right process, we get the right result. These are the target condition thinking and in practice. So what target conditions are not? Also, KPIs may be important. Target conditions are not KPIs. And also, target condition lead us to true north as the end result and delivering bottom line. Target conditions are not the end result. So some example of target condition. We have target condition in all the field, in all departments of the organization. And this is the topics of the book that I just published. In this example, we have production cell target condition, and we focus for over 15 minutes only on neo-isolated operator and changeover within the takt time. What means no isolated operator? It means there is no distance between people. It means there is no box between people, no tools, no machine. It means that there is a dancing place which is common for the people to act. And in a dancing place, then we can balance the workload and we can offer mutual assistance in order to make the flow. Changeover within takt time. Mr. Wilson gave us a few years ago the Wilson formula in order to depreciate the time allocated to the changeover. With Shingo, we went in the opposite way. And Shingo make with the SMET the reduction of changeover, and we can reach the changeover time. And by reaching a changeover time, which is within the takt time, we can have a total leveling adapt to the market. Other example of target condition, when we put all the cells together, we need to organize the plant layout. And I would like to highlight two of them, like laminar flow and pool flow. What is laminar flow? It's like in fluid mechanics. Laminar flow is an efficient way to run. as opposed to turbulent flow, which is cross-path and which is unpredictable. Look at this. We have an image of what is laminar flow, and you will see what is turbulent flow. Obviously, it jumped to the eyes that laminar flow is much more efficient in terms of lead time, in terms of stability, in terms of quality. So our plant, our organization, whatever it is administrative or manufacturing, are full of high complexity due to turbulent flow and not laminar flow. We have work in progress, we have lead time, we have waiting area, we have a lot of quality issue because of mixing populations. This is complexity of turbulent flow as opposed to elegant simplicity with short lead time of laminar flow. Pull flow is another target condition. Pull flow is not limited to demand-driven, is not limited to Kanban system, is not just producing what has been consumed, is not designed for high-volume production only, but also for spare part or specific part, and is not standard product only. When we pull the flow, we only plan the production of finished goods. The lead time is controlled and shorter than delivery time. Production is level. Market variation in volume and mix are controlled. And we have some regulation tool, whatever is overtime, is regulator product, is a regulator process, things like that we can implement. And behind all, pull flow is pulling the continuous improvement because we don't pull the flow just for the customer. We pull the flow to pull the bottom line. Cost is under control within each takt time. So if we make a summarize, we have the leadership creating the energy and the mindset. The leadership is not a manager, it's somebody we can follow. So we have to be manager and leader at the same time. And then we have the spirit of lead, which is full of patience, persistence, and patience. And we need all the three to go through the barrier to true north. And true north will be delivering the positive result, but not only the bottom line, also happiness as we will see with Brad. And then we have the itinerary, and this itinerary is guided by the target condition so that we have an improvement journey which is secure, a road path guaranteeing the way to true north. Thank you. I will hand over to Brad for the practical experience, and you can see the target condition in the book. Brad?
Yep. All right. Hey everyone, so yeah, I'm Brad from Tough Tornos and I'm the operations manager there. So just a bit about us. So we're a family-owned manufacturer for tonneau covers since 1993. So we started with about 2 employees. We now have 45 people. We also sell rubber ute mats, soft canopies, accessories and wheel covers. So our longest partnership has been with Nissan since 2001. And we also make for Isuzu, VW, LDV, and Mitsubishi. We're also the aftermarket leader in the tonneau sector. So if we receive orders by 11 a.m., they're manufactured and dispatched that same day. So these are just some visuals of our covers. So the rope, bungee, clip-on, and soft canopy. So Jean-Claude came to us in 2019, and he introduced us to the concept, as he mentioned, with laminar flow. So we thought we were pretty good at lean beforehand, and we've been doing it for 30 odd years. And so we were really curious to see the extra information and what else he could offer us. So first of all, we formed 3 teams. So team A, they looked at the overall value stream. So which products use which process and which piece of equipment. So we spent many hours going through the thousands of products that we have and kind of put them into a certain amount of flows or 2 flows and establish the takt time for each one of those flows. Team B, so they looked into the value stream design and the plant layout. So they looked into, reviewed a specific branch of the matrix and created what we call the pitch, which is kind of a delivery system into the lines, feeding in parts and exactly when they need it and where they need it. The next is Team C, so the third team. So they were doing the line balancing and layout. So this was a 3-day project. So we really wanted to focus on one area, one model line and one model flow. And then they took every step of the process, which you can see in the bottom photo there, There's quite a lot of steps. You think a tonneau cover is very simple, but there's actually a lot of processing that goes in it. And they worked out the best way to set up that balancing and the layout. So with all lean implementation, there was a lot of ideas raised and a lot of ways we can redesign our layout. And with most lean items, you need to take things slow. So we had like a few ideas to completely reshuffle the whole lot, but we decided to stick with a straight line and focus on the main two target conditions being laminar flow and pull flow to try and get the people familiar with the process, and then we can redesign and improve again later on with the next target condition. So we had great outcomes with this. We decided to do it in bite-sized chunks and focus on the pitch and logistics first, which meant that our operators had all the parts they needed fed in right on time, and then it made it easier to get their buy-in as well. So this ended up with a 29% in productivity per person on that model line, which was a great wrap. So unfortunately for us, GM decided to, which is what we use our model line, decided to not sell cars in Australia anymore. So our model line was no longer in use, and all the purpose-built benches and tools and equipment, they were no longer required or effective. And 1/3 of our business just stopped. On top of this, we had COVID hit it, and this caused our factory to stop for a number of weeks. So we're in a bit of a dire situation. Lucky for us, we managed to win further OEM work, and our aftermarket sales with the pandemic almost doubled as more people were buying utes within Australia, and it really helped our aftermarket sales. So this led to a restart in the project, and we now needed to kind of take everything we learned and apply it to the new models. Unfortunately, we had a few issues because like a lot of our benches and all that were to do with a prior model, and we kind of designed everything just for that one model rather than looking into the all the different models and all the different flows. So that was a good key learning for us. So again, with revisiting the process, we thought we were still really good. Like even after we had the laminar success and we kind of went back to our old ways a little bit, we still had a 20% productivity improved year on year prior. So, but when we deep dove into the project, into the process, we found that there's a lot of busy work being done. So we set a maximum of 1 whip between each station. So like one tonneau, with our stations broken up, kind of the cover moving one by one, but there was a lot of waste around it. There was a lot of kitting, a lot of busy work, and it's just all a lot of waste. And this is why the pitch is so important, to take away a lot of this busy work from the operators and allow them to focus mainly on the value-adding activities. So we focus on smaller batch sizes. So to start with, we started a little bit fat, so delivering that pitch with 2 days worth of kits, and then 1 day, and now we're implementing an hourly system, going for that one-piece flow. We shifted a lot of work content, and the balancing. So by taking away that kitting, which anyone can do and they can do off station, and focusing mainly on the sewing team members just sewing, we shifted a lot of the work content around and managed to balance it a lot more over the number of operators. And this removed a lot of the non-value adding activities, which I mentioned, the busy work, and a lot of extra waste in there too. It also opened our eyes to other improvements. So with our aftermarket, even though all tonneau covers, they look the same on the cars, all the tubs are different. There's different sports. Well, in Australia, we have like sports bars on a lot of our utes, and a lot of them are different. And the ute tubs, and because tonneau covers need to fit so precisely, a few mil requires a big change in the pattern and different change to the corners. So we're actually able to look into our product a bit more detail and try and standardize like 80% of them, because we just got into the habit of just changing bits and pieces. So it opened up other opportunities for us. So with that being said, we had 2 OEM lines with a 22% improvement in productivity per person with that increase in balancing. And our aftermarket line had a 37% improvement. And we're now, since this presentation, we've been able to apply that to 2 aftermarket lines. So we're seeing similar levels of improvement on both, which really helps with that increase in demand and achieving our true north. So the results and the productivity is important. But what was really important to us was the people side of things. So it was far from easy, as with a lot of lean projects. When we first started this, and even when we went back to it, it was a lot of it was like, you just want us to work harder. You just want us to work harder. You're just giving us more work. And we had to kind of take a step back and really focus on what Jean-Claude taught us initially, which was look at that spirit of lean and those team leaders first. And then what we managed to do was like get their passion. And the reason why they're complaining is they had so much passion in the work, and we're lucky where our operators, they care so much. And we managed to foster that. And we gave them ownership of the process by involving them in every change, in every step of the way. So things like which area should we balance? What are you finding difficult about the changes? What are a few things that we missed when we came and talked last time? How are things working? What do you think we can do? What can we try? That key question is, what can we try, and what do you think? Really starts building the ownership and getting them involved in the process, and it's just a really powerful tool. So this not only this not only improved productivity, but this also created a happier workplace, because the team members, they had that full ownership of the process. They weren't just doing what they told them; they were working with us, and we were doing what we all wanted to do. And ultimately, we ended up taking away the target. So when we first implemented the process again, we took away the target, and we're like, hey, let's just try it. You guys have put a lot of changes in. We've come up with a few ideas and a few things we can work together and try, and let's take that target away. And then what they ended up doing was they did the process, and they ended up achieving that 37% improvement without them even realizing. And then they were like, oh, wow, you actually don't want us to work hard. And they felt like a lot of pride and improvement, because a lot of what they've done came up with that big productivity improvement. So yeah, prior to 2017, 50% of our team members weren't happy to work at our workplace. So it's not a great truth, but it's just what the truth is. So half of our team either wanted to leave or didn't want to work at our place. So in 2018, that did improve quite a bit. But since the project, we've had 100% happiness in the last 2 years. And that's from like team leader level to senior management to the team member level. Everyone wants to work, and they want to work at our factory over the next 5 years and beyond. So I think out of any improvement project, if you can get the team on board and you get the team happiness, it just makes everything so much easier. And I think that's the number one result and the number one thing that we can all ask for. So it's a couple of key learnings for us. So again, we've been doing lean for 13 years at our factory, and I've been there for 10 of them. So we've nailed one-piece flow. We had what we thought was good pull systems put in place, and just-in-time delivery and all those type of things. But there's something new, something special about this new laminar approach, even though we were skeptical about it at the start. Jean-Claude gave us a fresh set of eyes. So he looked in, I guess those little gaps that we hadn't thought of before, and that produced significant savings. And that's why the devil's really in the detail. And those like 3 Gs, as I'm sure a lot of you know, like going to the Gemba and really understanding the process is key. And a lot of the time we take 1 step backwards and 2 steps forward. So we found that, especially with our people to begin with, but now we find that everyone's happy, and it's just such a positive place to come into work. And it's been great. And no matter, even if you've made improvements every year, I guess that's why they call it continuous improvement. There's always room for improvement. There's always new ideas. There's always different ways to do things. And I think it's very important to always have that in mind. So again, we started with the lean leadership and mindset of our team leaders and got them involved and all of them into the project. And the spirit of lean was the key one that did it for us. So putting that people first, and there was a lot of patience is required, especially initially. But keep that persistence going and foster that passion, and you can really create that lean culture and those improvements. So we're still working we've still got a long way to go to meet our true north, and we're still working on our target conditions, and we're pretty much where the 3 is at today. We've got our short-term goal, but there's still much more to do. And like we've kind of achieved a couple of target conditions, but there's 10 more to go. So we're really excited for the journey, and we've seen good results so far. And that's it for me. Thank you very much for your time.
What a great story, combining the master and the student, and a real life example of truly developing people and the bottom line with the results. I mean, we've been running this experiment now for more than 2 years with Brad and Jean-Claude. So it's great to hear an update, very inspirational. So thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your story. And if people want to join us for a more intimate discussion, there's a link in the comments chat, and it would be great to open this discussion up with a few more people. So without further ado, we're nicely on time. In fact, we're a bit ahead of time. Let's press the link and join you on the other side. So
congratulations, Brad, for these wonderful applications.
Well done. All right.
Good teaching.
See you on the other side.